Hello, my name is Ken. Welcome back to my Fundamentals of GeoGuessr Duels series. In the series, we created a brand new GeoGuessr account, and we started playing as if we were a brand new player and really only knew how to guess which continent we were on. And then we've been slowly, as each episode goes, narrowing down the continents into regions or countries and getting better and better guesses. So we've been really successful in the last 2 days. So yesterday we won 5 out of the 6 games we played, and the previous day we won 4 out of 5. So things are going really well with the knowledge that we've added in here. I don't think we're making like amazing guesses that an expert player would make. We're just kind of making we're identifying either the country or the region, and then making a just a general guess based on that. So one of the things I wanted to do before we really got into things today was highlight the game that we lost yesterday. So, um, this is the game, and what the reason I wanted to highlight it is because this player is implementing kind of the same exact strategy that we're using. So, um, they had a little more difficulty identifying each individual country. So we can see that on the very first round here. They guessed South Africa, but what they did was they guessed it in the middle of the country, and we see that consistently. So in this round, we had Greek letters. That puts us in Greece. They guessed the middle of Greece, and we're closer. Here they missed Taiwan, but they guessed the middle of Japan. So the strategy holds. Thailand, they just put it in the middle of Thailand or near a big city. So that's a pretty good strategy. So either the center of the country or near a big city. Thailand, just north of Bangkok, is a great guess. So happy with that. Here they hedged a little more towards the big city, Sydney. And then finally, they won when we missed the Chile, but they won it with just placing it right on Santiago, which is the middle of the country and the biggest city. Um, so they have been actually very successful with this strategy. So, like, not worrying too much about exactly finding a pinpointed place, but take your time to figure out which country you're in, and then just make a general guess in that country or the region. Um, so they currently have a 66% win record. So they're winning two-thirds of their games. They actually won like 9 games in a row today. So, and the other interesting thing, so let me switch over to our guess map. So right now with like the US, we have not guessed off of the Kansas border since we started this series. So it's like, I think we're over 50 games now, and we've only lost in the US twice. And once was against an American who found the flag in Colorado, and then I don't exactly recall the other time what we lost on there, but yeah, 2 times in 50, 60 games so far. So oh, what I wanted to say about that was that player that beat us yesterday is employing the same exact strategy. They are guessing like northern Texas, maybe Oklahoma, and they're winning U.S. too. So this strategy works a good ways into it. And if we look on our so if we look at our stats here, it says U.S. is one of our strongest regions. So U.S. and Mexico, which I mean, they're huge countries, and we're just guessing in the middle. So um, yeah, I just wanted to point that out because like just as another data point to show that this strategy actually works. I mean, we are guessing quickly, not we're not rushing to put a guess in, but we're rushing quickly. We are guessing quickly, um, and we're not wasting a ton of time just like trying to pinpoint the exact location. Once we have a good region guess, we get our guess in. So, um, but let me bring up that map again so that I can kind of show you, and I'll switch my camera over. So if you're new with us, what we've done is we've set a set number of places that we are allowed to guess because the point of the video is to teach you how to play, not how to make these amazing guesses. So initially we had 6 or 7 points, and we've slowly added more as we learn more about different countries or different regions. Um, and so we're pretty good in South America with all of the countries. We're starting to divvy up Europe and Africa. We just have two different guesses, and a little more division up in Asia, and then Oceania. We still only have one guess. And like I said at the very start, we've been very successful with pretty much just this point, these points. So, um, but today, so normally I pick 1 or 2 countries or a region to break out, and I was kind of inspired by another game of ours last yesterday. So I'm not going to add any new points or explicitly add any new points, but I am going to take a look at some of the domain names. So um, let me show you a few examples from our games yesterday. So um, actually, this was a single game, and so at one point we found a domain name. So here's the website, and then the .ke for Kenya, um, and we were able to use that information to correctly guess Kenya, knowing that we were probably going to be in a Central Africa region. And then our opponent, I think this was, yeah, this was round two. So our opponent found this first and tried to use the .lt to identify the country that we were in here. So it was clearly Europe. But unfortunately, they thought that that was an IT. So for Italy, this was Latvia. And so we ended up benefiting twice from these domain names. But what I wanted to do is like, let's start using some of this information that is provided to us because our opponents are trying to use it. So we'll add another tool to our tool belt to continue to make better guesses. But I wanted to highlight a few domain names that are a little bit tricky. So let me come over here. So I've kind of divided these up into like the priorities in which you need to learn them. So the top three are probably your biggest priorities, and these are ones that are not like real obvious. So um, the United Kingdom is going to be .uk. The U.S. doesn't actually use one. We have .us, but we don't really use it. Um, Other countries like Russia .ru. So most of them are pretty obvious, but there are a few that aren't. So here is my list of unexpected domain names. Germany is the one that always confuses me. No matter, I know that it's .de, but whenever I see that, it unfortunately Germany can look a little bit like Denmark. Um, Sorry, I got a little itchy throat here. So that can be confusing when you see that. They're neighboring countries, so that's not really a huge surprise. But .de is Germany, and then Denmark is .dk. So hopefully you can remember that. Spain.es, so España is their like native um, name for the country. And so that's how you can remember the .es. And then South Africa .za. So or ZA if you're from South Africa is probably how you would say that. But for us Americans, we call it .za. And it comes from the Dutch name for the country. The name escapes me now, but they start their word for south with the letter Z. And then we have these ones are tricky. So the next ones, they are tricky, and unfortunately, I guess they're not too bad. The countries that you're going to confuse them with are close by, so they will look similar. So Switzerland is .ch, and whenever I see that, I immediately think Czechia, which is .cz. I don't recall why they use the ch. I'm sure it's the the language that they use. Croatia is .hr. I always confuse that with Hungary, which is .hu. And then Serbia is .rs. And of course, I confuse that with Russia. Unfortunately, they both use Cyrillic. So Serbia will use both Cyrillic and Latin letters. So they can be a little confusing. And then let's see, Bosnia and Herzegovina. I I practiced that name before I started the video, but I may have messed that up. They're kind of newer to the game, but you will find them, and they are .ba. Estonia is .ee. Montenegro .me. North Macedonia .mk. Eswatini .sz. I actually know where that was from. So they used to be called Swaziland. So that is where the .sc comes from. And then Ukraine .ua. So this tier is not so huge. You're not going to confuse these with too many other countries. Maybe like the I was going to say the .ee you might confuse with like .eu for the European Union, but that doesn't show up that often. So yeah, if you try to remember these, but like not a big deal if you don't. Like these are the big ones: the .de for Germany, .es for Spain, and .za for South Africa. And then these are the confusing ones that you will see, and they will point you to the wrong country. Unfortunately, you're just gonna make those mistakes and hopefully learn from them. But I still make those mistakes playing this game for years. So that's where we're at there. So we're currently sitting just below the double promotion zone. So we're in good shape. I'm not going to use any tokens today. I am trying to just get promoted one division at a time because I don't want to leapfrog over anybody's skill level. But I don't know. Like as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, like our current strategy is working extremely well. I think it's going to work well, well into the gold division. So, anyways, without further ado, let's play some games. So we're going to be looking for those domain names, and then we're also going to be reading signs. So if we see like the name of a country, I think we saw Senegal, or we missed it last time. We're going to use that. So we have a short license plates. We have a stop sign. It does look fairly cold. And I think we can probably, whoa, okay, hold on. We have white lines in the middle. So let's continue to look. We're driving on the left. Okay. Short license plates driving on the left. So it was initially looking like the US. We have these yellow poles, which are going to put us in Western Australia. But for Australia, for now, all of Oceania, we're going just the New South Wales label. So, oh, and I was wrong about the country. So that'll happen. And I think that's only the second time we've been burnt on New Zealand. So maybe we'll have to add that soon. Okay, so we have either Spanish or Portuguese. Let's look at the poles, and they are round and painted. Looks like shorter license plates, maybe. And we do have yellow lines in the middle. So it is Portuguese. So I'm going to say that this is probably Brazil. So Portuguese looking like South America. That's our Brazil guess. They guess very similar. And we end up being just a little bit closer. So good start here. Okay, this is immediately looks European. Does that plate have blue and yellow on the side? That we said was Portugal. So we'll start thinking about that. And it does look Portuguese. So let's go with Portugal. We'll click right in the middle of the country. And looks like our opponent is there as well. And they figured out the city. Good for them. So hopefully we don't run up against America. It looks, I mean, this player's been very good, and they do um, have an American flag, so they're probably from the U.S. So that looked like Thai to me. So the Thai language, that is another adjustment that we've made. So as we see these unique languages, we are going to guess the country. Um, so Thailand, they guess Thailand as well. Very close. Okay. So this is for sure a tough player. We have not. I don't think we've run up against anybody this good yet. So, um, but we're hanging in there, even with our pretty general strategy. Okay, we are in the middle of nowhere. Sun is in our north. Okay, I'm gonna go South America, but I don't have a really great guess. So, all right, and we were just wrong there. So it didn't look like South America. Just uh, sun was in the north based on that screenshot there. So we unfortunately lost this one. Let's take a look at the game, see where we went wrong. So New Zealand. Um, oh, okay. I should have known by the poll. So they have these similar polls to Chile, and sometimes they have these wraps around them. So that's one good way to distinguish New Zealand. And I got sucked in by the so New Zealand and Australia look very similar, um, and it can take a little bit, especially in these urban rounds, to determine which one you're in. I guess I don't know if this is the direction we went. This doesn't look familiar. Um, the yellow lines may have been a clue. I saw yellow posts, which is more typical of um, Western Australia. So over here in the Perth area. But um, either way, we're going to be in rough shape if that player knew what they were doing. So then we had Brazil. Um, so we did not have the typical Brazil polls. We did find the Portuguese language, so with the CAO, and the C had the squiggly line underneath it, and that helped us get to Brazil. And yeah, so here's yeah, all the polls here are round, it appears. Um, so not uncommon in Brazil, but more often than not, you will see these polls for Brazil. So we didn't find that in that round, but we did find the language. Um, Here they found the exact city that they were in. So I don't know if they found a sign or not. Maybe let's take a look and we'll watch their replay. This was a good player, so hopefully we can learn something from them. Oh, that was me. I want to go to this one. Let's see what they did. So they looked at the trash bin. That can be a useful clue for lots of different countries to look at what the trash bins say. And okay, they figured out Portugal so far, probably based on these signs. So I think we did briefly talk about that. It says Portuguese. What else? How did they find the city? I'm not sure. It's hard to say how they found the city. So, um, but good guess on their part. and then I wanted to actually just go back to the game, and then we blew it on this one. So um, we were kind of in the middle of nowhere. The sun shows, well, here it shows in the south. There it shows in the north. And Germany is not within the tropics, so you can't always rely on that compass. It didn't feel right, but I kind of went with what we've been teaching you. Um, yeah, there's like we're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't have any major clues to work off of. I don't think I even saw that car in the game, but yeah, that's unfortunate that the compass is not always correct. I guess the you run into trouble during sunrise or sunset more often than like the middle of the day. So the sun is on the horizon. That should have been an indication to not rely on that. So we'll live and learn, and let's play again. So okay, 246 duels played, and we have Cyrillic. So immediately thinking like Russia. And do we have any other clues to help get us there? Oop, there was a sign back there. Let's see if we can get close to it. Um, so has Cyrillic and Latin. Sofia is actually a big city in Bulgaria. So we'll click Bulgaria here. I think I mean we should really be using these signs. So um, and they did go Russia, so that was a good use of the sign, and yeah, we'll continue to do that as we find those things. So .ro, that's got to be Romania. I mean, it looks like we are in Europe with long license plates, and .ro should be Romania, so we'll just put that in the middle of the country. So we'll use these clues as they're presented to us. And our opponent missed the domain name, so it's going to be more points for us there. And let's see. Okay, we have Latin, but not English. A lot of motorcycles and kind of tropical. So this is probably Southeast Asia. I don't see any distinct language that will help us to get the specific country. So we'll just do our Southeast Asia guess. I think Indonesia is a good guess. It looks like that's what our opponent is going for. So, and yes, it was Indonesia. And they were slightly closer despite us being on the correct island. So unfortunately, that'll happen with our guesses. So we do have a red car here. The road looks not so hot. And we have Cyrillic. So when we see that combination of three things, Ukraine is our guess. So that was a little quick, but we were able to identify those clues very quickly with a little bit of movement. And our opponent is putting it in the middle of Russia. That's a fine guess, but like I think when we look at our guess chart, we see that most of the Russian coverage is over near Moscow. So if you're just kind of hedging, hedge more towards Moscow, and you'll be better off. So let's take a quick look at that. So let's first we'll go over round one here. So one of the things that we've consistently been talking about here is the Cyrillic and Latin. So I think we found a sign up here. And on that sign, so we had the Cyrillic and the Latin, and we said that rules out, or mostly rules out, Russia and Ukraine. So if you then go back to the map and you say, okay, that rules out these two big ones. We're in Europe. The leaves us with a few of these countries down here. And then if we look here, like the name Sophia is right on the very first sign that we see. So I think Bulgaria is it's not a stretch to be able to get there. We can zoom in, and certainly when our map was the full screen, we could zoom in a little bit and identify that big city. So that's one of the skills that we need to continue to use and improve on. We've done very little of it to this point. Um, so I think it's something like, especially for these big cities, the country names. So let's start using those to make our guesses better. In this one, this was the theme of today. So these domain names, so www.noventapop.ro. It looks European, not too many countries in Europe that could represent. I can't think of, I can't think of any actually, aside from Romania. So put it in the middle of Romania and we were good there. Then we had, so tropical, water motorcycles. If you, clues for Indonesia, so we have like the Muslim dress, and we have Latin but not English. A lot of motorcycles driving on the left. Not so not a huge distinction from Malaysia, I guess. What else do we have here? I don't. Usually, you will see the red and white colors of the Indonesian flag. I don't see that often or here, but like on the poles, you'll often see it painted. That just looks like a security light, but so pay attention to that when you're trying to figure out which country you're in. Um, and like they were just slightly closer to us, so I don't think it's a big deal that we don't know how to distinguish Indonesia from Malaysia or the Philippines yet at this point. We'll just continue with our Southeast Asia guess. And then Ukraine. So we had the red car. The road quality was horrible. Looks like they had done some repairs, but even still, it looks not so hot. And then we had a sign with Cyrillic writing on it. So here it is. So that led us to Ukraine, and that was that game. So easy win. Let's do it again. And player 93 games played. Okay, yellow lines in the middle. We do have a short plate. Let's move around and see what else we can find. We do have a unique bollard there. Let's see the language. Is that... it's hard to say. It looked more Japanese to me. So with the bollard and yeah, these guardrails look very Japanese. I'm going to put it on the Japan label there. And looks like our opponent is figuring it out as well. They are looking for a sign. I think it can be a little tricky if you don't know Japan very well to find some of the signs. So we're both kind of close to each other, but we are slightly closer. So success there. All right, we have very European looking buildings. They're close together. I mean, they do have a little bit of lawn, but not like huge lawns like you'll see in the US. The license plate is a bit longer. That's interesting, like a banana tree. Um, I didn't initially expect to see that, but maybe we can find. So we did see the back of that license plate. What about language here? Verboten. That sounds kind of Germanish to me. So we'll give it our European guess. That feels a little north for a banana tree, but that could just be, uh, I don't know, a unique guess or a unique ornamental plant or something. So, okay, Netherlands, I think that's fine, and it was Austria, barely. So, right on the borders. Interesting. Okay, we have uh short license plates. A lot of like eucalyptus trees, maybe. I'm gonna assume that the sun is in the north. And let's see here. We have the giveaway sign, which we see in Australia, that has the black letters. I think we talked about that in the last episode. So we'll give it our New South Wales click. And see how we do with that. And it's hard to say where our opponent is thinking. They thought similar, and they were slightly closer. That's okay. Like, so we have done nothing to divide up Oceania yet. So all of the Oceania guesses are going on New South Wales label. All right. We have, this is looking like South America to me. Um, what am I looking for here? These, so we talked about these mail slots with Peru, and initially when I was talking about them, so this was in the which video was it? It was like a supplement. It was the learnable meta video, and I said, Zigzag really likes these mail slot things, and I've just never found them useful. And now that I've practiced it a few times, I can find them. So uh, also those, so the poles with the black and white, our opponent found those as well. So um, we'll take another look. Let's see. We have long license plates. It's hard to say if there's another color on that blur. Um, Gosh, this is not helping me out here. And are they? Let me go back a little bit. They don't look very short in the front. Can we find any other details about this area? Um, I guess it doesn't look that warm. I don't have a great guess for this one. Outside of, I mean, it doesn't look like any of the countries that we've covered yet in Europe, so we'll just give it a generic Europe guess. Our opponent is thinking Turkey. It does say Ankara on that sign, so probably a good guess. We have covered Turkey, so maybe I should have looked further. They're going to get a really good score there. So that's unfortunate that we missed that detail. So we have not learned these bollards yet, which is unfortunate because I'm going to assume that our opponent knows them based on how well they've been playing so far, but they are the Denmark bollards, and we'll give it our generic Europe guess, and they have it confused with the Netherlands, which is not surprising because orange is the kind of color in the Netherlands, and so you would kind of expect that, but they are closer. And I think that'll be enough for them to win. So press 1, say good game. and then we'll take a look. So figure out what we missed on that turkey round. So history. I'm so used to doing it this way that's how I do it. So Japan, we found the guardrail, we found the reflector on top of the guardrail, and then we found some Japanese writing. Um, this one I think we saw some German, and we said it looks very European. We were surprised by the banana tree. Here was a very typical Australia. So we found the giveaway sign. So with the black letters, we talked about that earlier. Um, oh, I haven't switched my camera over. Sorry about that. Um, the black letters on the giveaway indicate that you're in Australia, and the red ones that you're in New Zealand. And you can determine that, or you can remember that by the flag. So New Zealand has red stars on their flag. Um, here was, oh, Peru. So we found um, these electric box counters, and they look kind of like mail slots. And we remembered that from practicing our learnable meta map. And Turkey, this is one I wanted to look at. So we have these big block buildings. That should have been a clue, I guess. These trash bins, that should have been a clue too. And we probably could have found the name of the region on it. I think this was Ankara. Yep, that's what this says up here. You can't see either of the places where it says that, but the bin doesn't say that. And our opponent did find a sign that had Ankara on it. So I'm not that familiar with the city, but I would assume that those are unique buildings for the city. And other clues. So we did have the long license plates. I don't think there's any yellow on them, so that might be a clue that you're not in. But I'm sorry, blue. Um, but these have blue, so yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. Um, oh, there we go, a turkey flag. So that could have gotten us there. Um, yeah, tricky round for me. Sometimes I miss some of those clues when I'm trying to talk to the video and figure this out as well. And then Denmark has these unique bollards. So anytime you see these bollards with the diagonal strip, and then some of these are worn out. This one is orange. Let's see if we can find a better example or a more complete one. Here we go. So if you combine these two, so with the orange strip here, and then the yellow reflector, that is a complete looking Danish bollard. So Denmark, pretty recognizable bollard, but again, because Netherlands uses orange, like with all their sporting events, um, it is easy to get those two mixed up. So um, let's play one or two more games, and we've been going for 40 minutes, so we'll do one more game, and that'll make 5 games. So we're 2-2 today. Or have we only played one game? I don't know. 3 games. Scottish water. Trusted to serve Scotland. I'm electric. Okay, so this I mean I don't have any reason to not guess Scotland, so let's just go up in Scotland. It looked very Scottish, and our opponent figured it out from those really subtle clues. Okay. We have all white roads. Where's our sun? Our sun is in the north. So immediately thinking uh, Oceania, Australia. So yeah, I don't know that we need any other clues here. It just it looks. I was gonna look at the language. That looks, yeah. English enough, and we'll give it our regular Australia guess. They went South Africa, and we were in Australia, so nice spot on. So there, the white lines, all white lines, helped us get to Australia rather than South Africa. So easy to confuse. Those are interesting. Um, do we have a black dot on that license plate? Maybe. Um, so the sun is in the north. The black dot would make sense with that. So that would lead us to Argentina. And the architecture works for me here. And I'll put it in Argentina. And oh, they figured out the city. Good for them. So today has been a little bit tougher than some of our previous days. So I wonder if our matchmaking has been a little closer to our actual skills. So we have Spanish-ish. It looks like we have the yellow lines in the middle. Let's see if we can find some signs. La Zamba. Let's look at the back of the sign. So nothing jumps out at me there. The poles do look Argentinian. So I like Argentina again. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Peru, but I think Argentina is a fine guess here. So um, that's an interesting flag that they've found. I missed the sign. It may have said attention, and they have a slightly better hedge than us. So I think this player seems to be a little more experienced. Because if I were playing my regular round, I definitely would have guessed further north there. So pretty dry here. We have a white line, pretty narrow road. Um, let's see. What else do we have? Let's see if we can see this car. It has a long license plate. And okay, so we have the squish down stop sign and the tons of dashes on the crosswalk. So that'll put us in Spain. And looks like our opponent found it as well. And we're slightly closer. So yeah, they're playing very well. Much tougher today. So long license plates. I don't know if our Europe guesses are going to win here. Our generic Europe guesses. Unfortunately, this is another country that we haven't really looked at yet. And based on our opponent's flag, I'm expecting them to nail it. But yeah, very European. We have the long license plates, and we'll just give it our typical Europe guess. Hope for the best. And let's see. Maybe they're not sure. I'm going Hungary. Okay. I thought it was going to be more closer to Scandinavia, and Latvia it certainly is a little bit closer. So tricky. The three Baltic countries are very tricky to identify. This one, our hedge is going to be amazing. So again, we're in Europe. We'll have these long license plates with the blue. I don't know that we will have much more to say here, but I see either Czechia or Slovakia. I think it is Czechia, but we'll put it there. With the number plates on the signs. Sorry, the number plates on the houses with the blue and the red, and then the street signs. It was Czechia, so a good guess there. And I'm a little surprised that our opponent was not better off there. Oh, the black tape is not completely dead yet in Ghana. So we are in. Our opponent knows this one. We got to guess it. We've been talking about it. Um, we are in Ghana with that black tape, and they did guess slightly closer to us than us. Um, so the last episode, I said the tape was dead, and it has been resurrected. We're going. We have long license plates. It is very cold. I didn't see a blue on that one. Let's look at the writing here. I would not say that that is Cyrillic. So, um, yeah, not sure. Let's take an. Let's keep looking for some more language, um, because we are seeing. Oh, wait, Z. Here we go. Dot CZ. That will be Czechia again. So I'm glad we found another one with the domain. So 2 domains after reviewing those. So make sure you learn them if you don't, if already know them. All right, we're doing more Europe here. So long license plates. What do we have for flags here? A K. All right, the language there. Let's keep looking for some signs. We'll do that since that was kind of one of my recommendations at the beginning of the video. Look for some signs. These don't appear to have any useful information on them. Yeah, I that might be a flag to help us get the country. That would make sense. So we haven't gone over flags. We'll go here again on our, and they were able to figure out the flag was Latvia, and that was enough to win there. So yeah, we not as a successful day today. So let's take a quick look at that game. Again, we ran up against a European player that seemed to know Europe pretty well. So Scotland, this one said Scotland everywhere, Scottish water. We had the Australia guess. So all white lines, sun in the north. When all of the lines are white, you're going to be in Australia. If it's white on the center, I guess this is kind of a one-way road, so hard to really tell by there. Maybe not. I guess if we jump over. So in Australia, in South Africa, the lines will be yellow on the outside and white on the center. So the all white lines, and we found some English language that got us to Australia. A couple Argentina rounds. So this architecture is very common in throughout Argentina. So very decorative stonework, and we did see the black spot on the license plate, which is an artifact of the blurring. They were able to find the city, so good for them. We had another Argentina. I don't recall if we saw the yellow lines. We saw Spanish, and then I think we ran into the poles that are Argentinian. So this pole topper looks like Argentina. It is easy to confuse it with Turkey, but the sun is in the north, so another Argentina. And there were some mountains which would have had you a little more north with how dry it was there. So um, let's see. And then we had the Spain. So we ran into the stop sign with the squished down letters, and then the crosswalk with 8 dashes on the crosswalk sign. So let me see if I can get to those again, just to show you. It was it here? Maybe it was. I don't I don't see it. Let's see. No, I don't see it. So we'll have to go back in the video to look at that. This one so clearly Europe. We did find some flags that had the Latvia colors, so the red, white, red design flags that could have helped us get there. um, and once we look at the Baltic countries, we'll be able to guess this more accurately. So, but we got it in Europe. That was the goal here, and I mean this game we just ran into a good player. So, um, I think I mentioned on this one the house numbers. So, this red house number sometimes it'll be next to a blue one. Um, that is a good sign that you are in Czechia. Um, and did we find anything else here? This is the one that I think we actually saw in the game. So long license plates, cooler weather puts us in Europe. Our generic Europe guess gets us really close. So that was a win there. The Ghana black tape here. We didn't officially learn this, but we would have lost there if we had hedged our Central Africa guess. So I mean, we were going to lose anyways. Um, so we kind of cheated with our rules there, but that's all right. We extended the game so that we could um, learn with our .cz, so our domain names we found here somewhere, and the rest of it looked like Europe, so that helped us get to Czechia pretty easily. And then, oh, this was the round with the Latvia uh, colors, flag colors. So I mean, again, this was looking at Europe and the long license plates, the cold weather. Um, Not much else to say about that. We will learn those eventually. I'm really impressed with our opponent for getting those because those are difficult countries for a lot of players, even the Europeans to identify. So well played on their part. So with that, I think I'm going to end the video. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, please give me a like. And if you want to continue learning through the series, give me a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.